Hello there and welcome back to the shop. So today's project is going to be making a 45-degree miter sled. I wanted to make a sled that would make it a lot easier and safer to cut my miters in my workpieces. So basically I took some oak scraps and I cut them to fit the slots in my table saw, and right now I am putting some pennies in the slots to raise the wood above the table saw base so that I can glue down the plywood. So here I am adding some crazy glue, and I'm going to come back with the plywood. I'm going to spray that with an activator and just place it down and let it dry. So the base of the sled is a piece of 3/4 inch maple ply, and it is 28 inches long and 17 inches wide, which would be plenty for this jig. Now that the glue is dried, I'm going to flip it over. We're going to drill and countersink some holes and throw some screws. I did end up putting 4 screws in each runner. Okay, so once the runners are attached, I'm going to cut a groove in the bottom plate about 6 inches in. Alright, so these pieces of maple here, you can see I already cut the miters in them, and I cut a groove in the top. And those blanks are 1 3/4 inches by 1 3/4 inches by 25 inches long. Now I'm going to run some glue on them. I'm going to stick them down to a pre-marked. You can see the line on the bottom part of the sled. So now I'm just going to lay the piece of wood out to the line, and then I'm going to use my woodpecker delve square, which gives me a good 45-degree angle to the bottom of the sled. And that's how I'm going to make sure it is at 45 degrees. Once I have it there, I'm going to double check it, triple check it, and then we'll come back with some weight. I think I used a gallon jug of glue to hold it there until it dries. Now a little later on in the video, you're going to see why I put the groove in the top of this wood. And again, we're going to do the same with the second piece of wood. Run some glue, going to lay it to the line. We'll use the delve square to line it up, double, triple check it. And we'll put some weight on that until it dries. This is probably the most important part, is to make sure you are at that 45 degrees on both sides. This way you don't have any issues with your parts after the jig is finished and you go to use it. You want everything to be good. And another tight bond clamp. Let this sit for about 30 minutes. Okay, so this was another piece of maple, which was 6 inches by 6 inches by 1 3/4 inches deep. And I cut one of the ends off, and this is basically going to be a block that you can bury the saw blade into when you're cutting your miters on your project pieces. So it has somewhere safe to go. And we're just going to glue this into place. And then behind this piece, I have another piece of wood, which is 1 5/8 by 16 5/8 by 3/4 of an inch. And this is basically going to be a place for me to put my hand to operate the sled back and forth, like sort of like a built-in handle. Sorry for the bad camera angle, guys. Gotta love those tight bond clamps. So once those all dry, we drilled and countersink some holes, like you see here, and screwed it all down. And here we're gonna flip it over and just give it a little test to see how it feels in the slots. She's operating pretty smoothly, even without wax on the bottom yet. So here is what those grooves were cut for. So these are the Craig aluminum pieces that I had from my old saw that I haven't used. I got rid of years ago, but I held on to these pieces. So this way I have a place to put a tape measure and some stop blocks so I can do repeated cuts. And once installed, just screwed and countersank the aluminum and ran some screws to hold it in place. You can see I already installed the tapes, the measurement on both sides, and these are the flip stops. Now I'm going to have to make little wood pieces to attach these flip stops. For one, I'm doing double-sided miters, so I have something to stop the point down rather than sliding fast. So we're going to do a test cut, a couple pieces of wood, and we'll see how the miters come together. And one thing I did do to this jig after I was done, because it was kind of slippery, is I added some 150 grit stick down sandpaper to the bottom of the sled to help keep that wood from slipping around on me. And the miters came out pretty good. So here's a picture of the sled with the sandpaper installed. That's it, guys. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.